It was supposed to be a normal day at work for a simple office worker, but it turned out to be a very bad day. He came home depressed. His wife wasn't happy to see him, and she didn't even bother to ask about his day. She just pushed him away from her and told him to get out of here. He tried to explain, but she wasn't having it, so he had no choice but to leave. As soon as he left, she called another man and asked him to come over. This man worked in the same company as the husband, and he was also the reason why she had been unhappy in her marriage. On the other hand, the husband is still just an ordinary employee. But one day, he stumbled upon something that changed everything. But the husband was adamant. He knew what he wanted to do, and nothing would change his mind. He rang the doorbell, and when his wife opened the door, he handed her the flowers and told her how beautiful she looked. She was taken aback by his appearance because she hadn't seen him for a while and she had missed him. But she quickly recovered and invited him in. He stared into her eyes and whispered, "I know everything." His wife struggled to free herself from his grasp, but he held her tight. She screamed for help, but no one came to rescue her. He realized that he didn't want to hurt his wife any further. He let her go and stepped back, allowing her to break free from his grasp. She promised to change and be a better person, but the husband wasn't convinced. He knew that her apology was empty and that she wouldn't change. But as he listened to her speak, he felt a sense of relief. He knew that their marriage was over, but he also knew that he had to move on. He didn't know what lay ahead, but he was determined to make the best of it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. He had lost his wife, but he had gained himself. He was a new person, and he was ready to take on the world. He picked up his bag and walked out the door, leaving his wife behind. As he stepped into the night, he felt a sense of sadness, but also a newfound sense of freedom. He was no longer bound to his wife, and he was ready to start a new chapter in his life. He had finally confronted her about her betrayal, and that was all that mattered. His wife stumbled back, her eyes filled with fear and regret. She knew that she had been a horrible person to cheat on her husband, and now she was paying the price. His friends tried to talk him out of it, but eventually they gave up. He wasn't going to hurt her, at least not physically. He was giving her a chance to explain herself, and that meant more to her than anything else. He wasn't going to punish his wife any further. He knew that she deserved to pay for her actions, but he also knew that he couldn't live with the guilt of hurting her. He forgave her, but that didn't mean that he forgot. He would always remember what she had done, but he also knew that he couldn't hold on to his anger forever. With trembling hands, she reached out and touched his arm, and he flinched at her touch. She knew that she had crossed a line, but she hoped that he could find it in his heart to forgive her. He was calm and relaxed, which confused his wife even more. He had waited too long for this moment, and he wasn't going to let it go without a fight. The husband pulled his wife closer and whispered, "You're mine forever." His words sent chills down her spine, and she knew that she had made a terrible mistake. She had expected him to be angry and confrontational, but instead he seemed like a completely different person. She tried to make conversation, but the husband didn't respond. He just sat there staring at her, and it was making her uncomfortable. They knew that if the husband wanted to go through with this, there was nothing they could do to stop him. He felt humiliated, angry, and most of all, hurt. At first, he thought about confronting his wife directly, but he knew that wouldn't solve anything. She wouldn't admit her mistake, and the relationship between them would never be the same again. His wife's face drained of color, and she started shaking. The husband stood up from the couch and walked towards her, and she instinctively took a step back. He continued to approach her slowly, and she could feel her heart racing. He found evidence of his wife's affair, and in this moment, he felt like his whole life had fallen apart. She had been cheating on her husband with this guy for quite some time now, and her husband had no clue about it. She had pushed him too far, and now he was taking his revenge. But as the husband looked into his wife's terrified eyes, he felt a sense of satisfaction. He had finally confronted her about her betrayal, and nothing would ever be the same again. The husband's friends noticed his strange behavior and confronted him about it. They were worried about him because they had never seen him act like this before. The husband opened up to them about what was going on in his life, and they were shocked to hear about his wife's infidelity. She started working for this company as an accountant, but now she works as the head of the accounting department. He started planning his revenge, and it was a plan that would take months to execute. He saved every penny he had and bought himself a gun. Then he started practicing shooting at the range, trying to become as good a shot as he could be. He knew that when the time came, he would need to be precise and accurate to carry out his plan successfully. He couldn't believe that his wife, the woman he had loved and trusted more than anyone else in the world, would betray him like this. Instead, he decided to do something no one would ever expect. But as the day of revenge approached, something unexpected happened. They encouraged him to take some time to cool off and reconsider his plan. On the day of the confrontation, the husband arrived at his wife's house with a bouquet of flowers. The husband followed her inside and sat down on the couch. Finally, he broke the silence and told her that he knew about her affair with the other man. As he closed in on her, he reached out and grabbed her hair, pulling her face towards him. In that moment, the wife realized that her husband had finally snapped. His wife's screams echoed through the house, but he didn't care. But as the minutes passed, the husband's anger began to subside. But as she looked into her husband's eyes, she saw a glimmer of hope. As the hours passed, the wife poured her heart out to her husband, begging for forgiveness. As the sun began to set, the husband made a decision. With a heavy heart, the husband said goodbye to his wife. The husband walked down the street, his mind racing with thoughts of the future. And that's where we'll end this episode. If you enjoyed watching it, then please stay tuned for more updates.